Hey gang, welcome to another video. In today's adventure, we're heading to Southern California for a weekend of primetime Halloween. We'll be checking out Rogers Gardens Halloween Boutique, as well as Creep It Real OC. Not only that, we'll be hitting up a couple of other fun locations along the way to really round out this weekend. My hope is by the end of this video, you're going to want to pack your bags and book a trip in September for Southern California. So, without further ado, let's go check it out. As I land in LA, I just want to do another quick disclaimer that, again, all of these videos are from September 2024. So generally, all of their themes, vendors, guests, and so on will change. So be sure to check them before you head out there. Now, once we were settled into the hotel, we headed over to Stowaway, which came as a recommendation to us. Now, this is a fantastic tiki bar. Now, in the back of the tiki bar, there's Belly of the Beast, which is, well, you guessed it, where you get to dine and drink in the belly of a whale. Similar to Monstro from Pinocchio, there's even puppets that look like Pinocchio inside the whale's belly. Now, full disclaimer, in order to eat or drink in Belly of the Beast, you do have to make a reservation beforehand, and I highly recommend you do it ahead of time, as it does fill up. But the food, the service, the drinks, all of it, well worth it. You can't beat it. Go check it out. The next morning, we headed straight to Rogers Gardens to check out their Halloween boutique. Now, I have been a fan from afar, only viewing their Halloween boutique through their videos, and I've always been in awe, and I've used it as a huge inspiration for my own decorating at Halloween time. Now, to see it in person is on a whole nother level. Every inch of this square footage is decked out in Halloween. So I would say, give yourself some extra time to check out this place because there's so much to take in, and you can't just do it in one loop. Trust me. I did it in like 18. But I'll let the video speak for itself. All right, after doing 18 laps around Rogers Gardens, it was time to regain some energy, and so we headed over to Burnt Umber, a Victorian Gothic coffee shop where the ambiance is pretty out of this world, and the coffee concoctions they make are insanely good. So much so we bought like 2 each. So go check them out. I promise you, it'll be some damn good coffee. All right, next we headed over to the Heritage Museum of Orange County where Creep It Real OC takes place. Now, this is an exciting outdoor Halloween festival, as I call it, because it's so neat. Now, it's run by Megan and Kevin, who are absolute couples goals. Exactly. And they put on this event along with Creep It Festive in November. Now, it's Creep It Real OC is the largest event of its kind in Orange County, and it's a definitely... you have to go check it out. It's such an experience. So let's go walk around. So the theme for 2024 was nostalgic, and man, did they deliver. So they set up one of these nostalgic walkthroughs in one of the older houses there at the museum grounds. And when I tell you it was like walking into a time warp, I felt like a kid again. Just from this living room setup alone to all the memorabilia, scripts, costumes, decor, all of it just took me back to a simpler time. And it was maybe one of my favorite experiences there at Creep It Real. So come take a walk through time with me. So after walking around outside in the Southern California sun in September, I needed a cold drink. So we headed over to the bar to get a drink, which was so good. And not only that, it was served in one of those orange pumpkin pails. Also decided to get lunch from one of the many food trucks there. And we stopped at one of my favorite vendors, Deadly Sweets, to get a snack of the sweet kind. After checking out some of the vendors, it was time to get some coffee, some much needed coffee from Bean Coffee, and man was it good. Then we headed over to one of my favorite talkbacks, which was with Chris Sarandon, who played Jack in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Ken Page, who played Oogie Boogie. Well, they voiced them anyway. This was a great talkback, and I really enjoyed it, and it was unfortunately one of Ken Page's last public appearances before he passed away in 2024. So I was really excited and glad to be able to sit and listen to hear their stories of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this is the point in the video where I go, man, I wish I took more footage of Creep It Real, especially since I spent 2 days there. But sometimes you're just so much in the moment and you're really enjoying it that you just don't grab that footage, and that's okay too. More reason to come back. And I suggest you go check it out too, because I'm telling you, it's an experience you won't soon forget. So go check them out. Alright, to close out the weekend, we headed to Slashers, an axe-throwing, horror-themed bar. And man, let me tell you, this place was fun. What a great way to close out our time here in Southern California. Now, when you get inside, it's just like a slasher summer camp where the employees are dressed up as camp counselors. It's decked out to look like a summer camp. And each of the rows where you throw axes is actually dedicated to a horror movie killer in some way. Like all good Halloween-themed weekends, they come to an end, and so does this video. As we finish up with our friends here at Slashers, just thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you had a good time. I hope you feel inspired to go check it out in September. But be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and as always, stay pretty and Halloween on.